commissioners tonight. I will go ahead and call to order, and I'll ask that our members introduce themselves, starting on my right.
Nathan Rinks, Vice President.
Kathy Chappell, Secretary.
Elizabeth Lamping, President.
Bonnie Dickinson, member.
And Mr. Sigmund.
Oh, James Sigmund.
And I did not hear if Mr. Skirvin was not going to be here. If he comes later, we certainly welcome. We welcome him. Kathy Chappell just passed out the minutes from the August 20 meeting. We can take a moment to scan through those. She said she did email them, and I apologize, I didn't pick up on that. It's myself. So we can have a moment to scan through them. Kathy, you did write a chapter, didn't you? Good.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I did, but that's okay.
I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
On the third page, on the third paragraph,
Huh?
you have it as Council President Gary Hall.
Well, I think maybe she was referring to the city council. Is it-
Okay, but he was here as a citizen, not as a council member, I believe.
Well, I don't have any objections to using his title as council president, but if he has an objection to it, we could certainly change that.
I'll be happy to change that.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if he wants to just be addressed as Mr. Gary Hall, that's, I
At the
think she was-
RDC meetings, I think that's appropriate.
that's agreeable. I think that's fine.
And I also, just a small thing, and it does change why I talked the way I did, or why I suggested what I did, is that it was presented to us that the basketball courts be resurfaced and painted, is what was presented to us. But this is not what this says. It says removing the two current basketball courts and replacing them with new courts. That's totally different than what was presented to us, because it was resurfacing and painting.
No, we had a discussion as to whether we could resurface or remove them, and we weren't sure what they were talking about.
Right, but the first topic was discussed, that the resurfacing and painting the basketball courts were brought to us.
Okay.
And then in that discussion, we said that we need to get more information. What are they planning on doing? How are they planning on going about it? So I just think that as it was presented to us, is how it should be put in the
That's
minutes.
an easy fix, and then on down, you'll read where Robert said, resurfacing with maintenance.
I presented based on what the mayor indicated, that they were being reconstructed. And then the discussion became, well, are we really talking about resurfacing? Are we talking about grading down? And nobody knew the answer
And
to
is
that. But
why
it
we
was
said
presented
that.
as reconstruction, not as resurfacing. And painting was part of it after they got it reconstructed.
So you want to make a vote to make a change to change that language? I know, Kathy, you went back and listened to
I
the
watched the
minutes.
video.
Well, if you go
Watch the
back and
video.
read our agenda, it's there. It's written out, resurfacing. So,
Okay.
and again, I know that some of you think that I'm being nitpicky, but that matters. That matters as to why I said, I don't want to do it right now, I'd rather get more information.
Sure, absolutely.
Right, and that's in the minutes. That we wished somebody had been here to talk about it. That's an easy fix, Bonnie, I can change that.
If-
Okay, and I'm fine with that, and that's all I'm suggesting. I'm not, that's it.
So, does everybody, any other questions or comments? So, we're going to vote to change the minutes to strike Council President Gary Hall to Mr. Gary Hall.
Okay.
And then Kathy, did you get the language that's necessary for the surfacing?
I'll go back and I'll write it exactly as I hear it on my tape and the computer.
Okay. Then, do we have any other questions or concerns about the minutes? If not, I can ask for a motion to approve the minutes with the changes that our two members suggested that we make. If I can get a motion for that, I would appreciate it.
I'll do the first motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, so thank you, Kathy. So we're going to go ahead, and we got to the minutes before, but I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and approve the new members' conflict of interest disclosure statements. We need to have that done. So Mr. Sigmund turned his in, and Mr. Runn has those. Does that look in order for Mr. Sigmund?
I have Mr. Sigmund's, I don't have Dickinson's.
You do, I just gave it to you.
They're right here. Gary put them in front of me.
They're right there.
Yeah, but you didn't give them. And there's a resolution that we passed for the other members when they submitted theirs, so I think it appropriate that in terms of accepting it, we would use the same format, because this has to be sent to the State Board of Accounts.
Okay,
Has to be sent to the clerk of Marion County Circuit Court.
okay. Do I need to read the resolution?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Can we
It's in
see-
your packet, but
I've seen Bonnie's, I haven't seen James's, so if I could just see,
here's James's.
That resolution was in the
Here's the-
green packet,
The
Mr.
one
Runn?
that Gary signed for me.
It's either right in the front of your same packet or right at the very back.
Here's something that says.
You need these right here too, Gary, or Nathan?
I've got a copy of Bonnie's. Did you see James's?
You can use.
Because they
one.
didn't, were they both in the email,
Oh,
or
I
was it
see,
just
here it is, I
Bonnie's?
see.
Just
Okay.
Bonnie's and
Yeah, I
the-
have it,
Okay.
Mr. Runn.
I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to see it before I vote on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, is all 3 pages there?
You seen it?
Nathan?
There's 2.
All right, I got the
Three?
3rd page right here.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got your,
Okay, I think it's the middle page. All right, thank you. Kathy, have you seen it?
No,
James's? All right, just,
thank you.
and Mr. Runn had a chance to look at that, correct? Mr. Sigmund? So I can go ahead and read this resolution number 2020, and I apologize, the number,
I'm not sure the number, I don't know what this number was.
that doesn't matter, we're okay.
We can have the clerk fill in the.
Okay. Be it resolved that the uniform conflict of interest disclosure statement of the following commissioners are hereby accepted. So that's all this says, so we'll take a
And
look.
you need to then write down the names of Ms. Dickinson and.
Commissioners are hereby accepted. And you go by Bonnie then? Mm-hmm. And go ahead for correction, spell your last name.
Dickinson.
And Mr. James,
Yes.
and spell your last name, please.
Sigmund, Siegman.
Okay, the following commissions are hereby accepted. Okay. All right, have you looked at it, Kathy? Did you have his, were we looking at?
Right
Yeah, James. Okay. And then we've also got, we're okay with Bonnie's? Did she feel hers, that made those changes appropriately?
Yes, they made the
Okay.
change, yes.
Okay, so if I can get a motion to accept the conflict of interest disclosure statements for Miss Bonnie Dickinson and Mr. James Sigmund, I would appreciate a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, so we go ahead and have each member sign down here, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Our print would probably be better because.
Brent?
Yes, because it's not, resolution is what approves it, but the State Board of Accounts and the clerk's got to know who it is.
Okay.
Brent?
Print his name?
Print.
Your stuff.
That's mine.
Yep. is up here.
Mr. Rudd, this is yours.
What is it?
It's my signed paper.
Those go to the clerk.
I'll take it. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. And then there's your paper for you to sign. So Kathy, you can take these to Jim for me. Is that okay?
Oh, thank you, Kathy. That looks really nice, Kathy.
And this goes to Mr. Jim Kaufman as well, or do we give that to you, Robert? This, our sign.
The resolution goes, well, Kathy needs a copy of it to attest.
Okay. So you don't know, you know what to do with that. Okay, thank you so much. All right, thanks, everybody. Next thing on our agenda is claims docket approval. I hope everyone's got the claims docket approval for their viewing. So we have for Lewis and Caps, professional service, RDC professional service in the amount of $1,033.10. That was on September 15 of 2020. September the 15th, an additional Lewis and Caps RDC professional services. And this was professional services 2019 CSX Matters, $208. Total docket of $1,241.10. And I believe everyone, I had extras, so I think everyone had the actual breakdowns of
Yeah, what, I do have some questions.
from Lewis and Caps. Sure.
So on August 4th, there was a discussion about the senior center HVAC system. Can you give us some insight into that?
Yes, I can. I learned that, that the senior center HVAC system was down and was going to need quite an expensive $30,000 repair. And I was just curious to know if there was possibility of us being able to assist with that. So I had a conversation with Robert Runn and found that that's a maintenance and that would fall out our scope of TIF money spending. But I just thought it would be helpful if I could just research it to see if that were something we could possibly present, because the senior center is such a valuable part of our city. And it was just a thought that I had. So, and he was kind enough to give me an answer without charge. But thank you for asking. So if everyone's had a chance to review and no further questions, I could get a motion to approve our docket in the amount of $1,241.10. If I get a motion to approve,
I make a motion.
I second the motion.
all those in favor of paying our docket of $1,241.10 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. So we will need to get this signed. I put my name at fiscal officer, correct? I always forget. Or no,
That's Jim.
Jim, that's Jim, thank you. So if I could start down here, and you can pass that down and we can use our handwritten signature on this.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, kid, if you can pass that on over for me, thank you so much. And one copy of that's all we need, correct?
As far as I know, over to Jim. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so Kathy, you don't mind? Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. All right, next on our agenda, review and vote on our goal plan. So, I'm not an accountant, so I tried to do the goal plan myself on an Excel spreadsheet. And then, of course, Mr. Peters, who is an accountant, found that I left off some items and how things to be rearranged. And he kindly told me that he's done these before. So I thought that since he's done these budgets before, that I would go ahead and let him do that for us, and I hope everyone's okay with it, but it's done. So everyone has a copy, I hope, of the of our 2021 budget. Has anyone had a chance to review that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I need to read this, Mr. Rund, or I can just simply, please accept the following as the 2021 budget for the Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission. Attached is our estimated detail of 2021 expenditures, which we believe to further our function and plans of redevelopment and best serve the citizens of Beech Grove. Also attached are excerpts of the Beech Grove City Fiscal Plan, updated by Mr. Jeff Peters, which show that the budget can be funded. So 2016, our bond payments will be $399,360. Accumulation of business attraction of expansion that's to be announced. Projects to be determined, to be determined. Professional fees was an estimate of $50,000. We had $40,000 for this year, so the total budget is $449,360. And then on the second page, it's what Mr. Peters does for accounting, if anybody has any questions. At the ending balance for 2021, it looks like our expected would be $1,014,606. Everyone look at that and help me, correct me if that's how you read it. I think that's what I understand. So that could be the total amount that we have to work with next year. And this will be presented to the city council, correct, Mayor?
Yes, the council will hear it probably on October 19th.
Okay.
However, in that budget, does it show a debt reserve payment?
Yes. It should. Let me see. You guys said it's on here.
I don't see it.
Oh, the
Transfer.
240,000 debt reserve? Is that
Yeah,
what
there
you're
it is,
asking?
yeah.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Okay.
And what happens is, if I'm not mistaken, after 2021, you don't have to do that anymore.
I believe that's what he said, because he was asking me that. He was asking me that, how I wanted to put that in the budget. I was like going, huh?
Yeah, it's actually added in here as a revenue, so. Yeah. I did have one request. And it doesn't apply to our new budget, it's just the budget for 2020. When we just put other, any place we put other, can we just do a line item and show what that other was? So that we can go back and look at this and because like we have expenditure, other project signage grant, $600,000. And then we have other expenditures that came back in, $500,000. I would like to see it if we could just do a line item and say that other was for whatever, instead of just other.
I know that was from previous, as you can see, it's from 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21, so.
Yeah, but under 2021 is the one I'm referring to. Because that's the only one that has money in those categories.
And I don't think we'll have any other expenditure. We don't know what those are. Those are.
No, I don't think I'm not saying it correctly, so you get it. When Peters or whoever does this, instead of just saying other, could we please have it designated as what that other is? So if someone comes to me and says, what was that 600,000 other spent for? I would like to know what it was spent for so I can answer them.
Sure, sure.
So that's all I'm doing, is just requesting, put a line item. What are the other? If there's 10, put 10 line items.
Okay, okay.
Is that a possibility?
I will find out.
Thank you.
So if there are no further questions, if I can get a motion to approve the 2021 budget as presented. I can get a motion to approve.
All motion.
I get a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, so we don't have to sign off on this or anything, correct? We have approved it. I'll get a copy to the mayor.
To the clerk.
To the clerk. I'll get a copy to the clerk. And I think he has a copy, actually. So, all righty. So thanks, everyone, for that. Mayor, will you see if we have anybody signed up for public comments? Or I can come back.
I'll do it.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, I
Thank
can go
you.
get it.
Craig's getting it.
Okay.
We have
I'll let you take it. You go ahead.
Fifth Avenue.
Take it, Fifth Avenue.
That's Greg and Jeff, right?
Yes.
We're trying to hold it to 3 minutes if anyone wants to time it. Either
It won't be
that-
long.
I'd sure hate to come and get you, Mr. D.
Hi, I'm Greg Cadoza, and this is Jeff Dees. We're both owners of Fifth Avenue Grill and Bar. What we'd like to get support for is pretty much real simple, outside seating, similar to what other restaurants and facilities have on Main Street. Just give you a little think about our future. Our long-term goal is to replace those big windows that we have out front and either put garage doors or sliding glass windows, so we have an indoor-outdoor atmosphere that's going on, having a little music inside. We also plan on refurbishing or replacing most of the doors that we currently have. We've got quotes and prices on that, which we'll do ourselves, but our biggest focus is to get seating outside and awnings. Yeah, Jeff has got some awnings he's going to put up, just very small, similar to what O'Gara's has, nothing protruding out there. So we just like to get support for those types of things, if at all possible. I know we have some plants out front. Maybe we could reposition those in other places and put the concrete. We got prices on gates, the fencing to go around there. And we're looking at about 8 to 10 tables outside with, typical outside patio seating and umbrellas. So
what is it exactly are you asking of us? So I know.
to be able to
Okay.
get the concrete, replace the plant work with concrete,
Okay.
get some fencing, and, some seating. That's pretty much what we're looking for.
I think this, honestly, I think it's a great idea. I spoke to Robert earlier this week to see if that's something that we can, I don't know how that works for us or what we can do to help you, but we're going to look and see what we can do.
And we'd like to see what we've done, Beech Grove's done for maybe other restaurants out
Yeah,
there. If they've done
absolutely.
it,
I
if
just,
there's any
we're
precedent for that.
new, I don't know
Right.
who poured what, but we'll see if that's something that we can do to help. 'Cause
Okay.
I think this is, obviously would be something right in our wheelhouse, because, we can help you guys on Main Street, and I think generally, if you guys are getting traffic down there, then that might lead to
Other people
other
getting
places
traffic,
getting
yeah.
traffic too.
And we've seen about 50-50. We've got locals that are walking to our restaurant. We're 75% food, so we're not really what you consider a bar, but we do offer a full-service bar.
The pork chop sandwiches. I've never had one before until.
You like the pork chops,
Right.
Gary likes the wings, so, yeah.
The wing, I did get the wings, I think I brought them back to work, and I looked like a complete goof sitting there, just covered in wing sauce, but they were really good, so.
Yeah. You want to say something?
How did the live music go?
Very well. It's just a 2-piece acoustics, and also, in the next couple weeks, we are going to put some tents outside, so a lot of people are afraid to eat inside, and we just want to, bring as many people we can in a safe environment, so.
So you're actually asking for a monetary
Yes.
gift or whatever. And
Correct.
so and like Mr. Rinks, I just applaud you. I just think that's awesome that a young guys who know the city, know the people, and are doing everything to bring that kind of attention to us. That's what we need. I know that, I believe Mr. Kleinpeters, they're going to try for the Okra grant again. Mayor might know a little bit about that, but that's the facade grant. I know we did not get it last go-around, and I think there's a potential for that to come about, and that would be a matching from the business owners. If that's the kind of stuff you're talking about, I don't know if that falls within that facade grant type. Do what? No? The Okra.
We're trying to get money for sanitary sewer rehab.
Right, I know that, but years previous, wasn't there the Okra grant for the facade for the businesses, which they weren't getting? I was talking about something different.
Yeah, I think for now, though, we're talking about that little,
Just that little
there's this little
strip.
small area
It's not
that's
very
got,
much.
I think I drove by there today.
Yeah.
There's like maybe one small tree and a couple little
Little
scrub
tree, mostly
brushes.
plants, and we just like to pave that and have.
Pave that to put some little like bistro chairs
Right.
there.
So it's
But
nothing
then-
exorbitant.
Excuse me, you were requesting for funds also to do the garage door?
No, we're gonna do that ourselves.
Oh,
Just give
okay,
you what our
okay.
future plan is, so it'll be a nice little feel, and people can walk down and see what's going on, and
The sidewalk will still be
Since the
accessible.
sidewalk in that area is more of a public,
Right.
and Beech Grove does own that,
So
probably.
the city owns that? 'Cause
Yes.
I believe so.
Right.
When I talked with Nathan, he wasn't certain who the owner was of the.
What he's talking about is a Board of Works matter,
Okay, I thought we, okay.
it's not an RDC. You can pay for it, but the approval has to come from the Board of Works.
Okay. Yeah,
Because-
so if I remember right, well, it was a couple of years ago, Dee's Taps was one of the first to ask, and they got just got approval. Basically, I think they had to go to the Board of Works and say, can we put some bistro chairs out there in front of our business? And they said yes. And then I believe the tea room followed suit. Now they've got some bistro chairs, and I believe 1949, or if it was Harvey's at the time, also did the same thing, and now they've got some that they can put out there. So I think what they're saying is you've got to get that approval, which I mean, I can't speak for the Board of Works, but I don't see why they wouldn't. But it's definitely something I think we could,
Sure.
I would have to get a number on it and see if that's something that the city can work out right there, but I mean, I think it's something we should consider if it's something we can do.
And a dollar amount, I don't know, can we do that for individual businesses? If that's something, would that set a precedent for other businesses coming along and said, that would be a concern?
Your group and the city encourages that,
Okay,
so.
Okay.
We would support it as a board.
Okay.
However, if the city does it, if it exceeds $10,000, you'll have to get
Okay.
quotes.
okay, okay.
I can't imagine,
So-
Can't imagine,
that's
it's
a
just
few
concrete, it's
thousand.
not that big a space, yeah.
But I haven't poured concrete in 9 years, so.
So it's a project that's not necessarily to benefit a particular business, it would actually benefit the city for the future use of that, I gotcha, yeah. And just to clarify, Dennis, I'm not confused on the Okra grant for the sewer. I was speaking of the grant that we had with the businesses a few years ago, and I thought there was conversation, because they did not, the businesses did not.
Which is a facade and signage.
Yes, but that's a separate from this anyway, okay, that's separate, okay.
Jeff and Greg, or Jeff, if you would call Jim Kaufman tomorrow, let him know what your intent is. Come here next Monday at 6, and then you can speak to the board, they'll approve it, they'll support that 100%.
And then I guess, Mayor, can we sit down and talk, I guess, or this week, trying to figure out what that would look like doing that, and then put something together if we want to put
He would
something
have to
together
put a
for a
proposal, I
vote,
guess, for the
or-
amount, or for,
Well, first of all, there's a form that people are supposed to fill out when they're
Okay.
asking for grant or loan
Okay.
money. We have a form you need to fill out before you come to the RDC.
Okay.
If you could come to the city hall tomorrow, I'll make sure there's
Okay.
a copy at the front desk for you.
Okay.
We need to see that before we even talk about it.
okay, very good, thanks, Kathy. Good,
Okay, thank you for your time.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks.
They ask questions.
So do we have
I
another?
passed out that form to everybody.
Thank you, I didn't expect, yeah. So do we have another public?
That's it. That's it.
Wow, hey. Well, everybody,
Madam President, I would like to address the group, and my request includes that you give me common courtesy and respect to complete my apology without any interruptions. And I'm reading it because I would be all over the place if I didn't. It is obvious that you, Mrs. Lamping, are trying to learn your new position and that you desire to do everything according to directions given you. My wish was that I could join with you and the other members to do good for Beech Grove. You sent me out with the encouragement to talk to everyone and anyone, even the council. Unfortunately, several long-term council members did not respond in any fashion, and that also includes you, Mrs. Lamping. Having such a responsible position, I wanted to get information as to what other citizens think are needs within their districts. Again, I apologize for the electronic theatrics of the past week. Directions were given. I followed that direction at the end, stating that I, not the council, not the RDC, wanted to speak with people. From the return emails, it appeared that I was being shut out to the privilege of talking with citizens. I was informed that the building would not be opened until the scheduled 7 p.m. meeting time, giving me no access to the caucus room. There was no need for this to become such an issue. I'm sorry for my part in it. And Nathan, I want to apologize to you too. Apparently I irritate you, ruffle your feathers, or you just don't like my gray hair. I don't know why, but it's very apparent you have a problem with me. My effort to ask questions or hear from the citizens just seems to set you off. I had no issue with you, and I do not understand why you have been so aggressive toward me. Also, and this is an issue, I don't appreciate you questioning my integrity nor your subtle threats. Please, if you don't like me, let's put that aside and let us do our job representing the citizens of Beech Grove. And we have 2 months to go. Can we agree to a truce? And, however, I'm not going to stop asking questions. And I thank you for listening and let me share that without interrupting, and anyone can respond in any way.
Sure, I'll respond. At no point did I threaten you or was aggressive. And that's a complete and utter mischaracterization and very untruthful. That was not, hold on, it's my turn now. That's why I brought the emails.
Did you bring the ones from 2 weeks ago too?
I have all the emails when we discussed this
No,
incident.
from 2 weeks ago.
You can bring them. They're all public record. Take this down while I speak. I never got aggressive with you, so don't go on a live video feed and say I got aggressive. Or that, no, I did not. I can go through the emails right now. This all started with an email from Gary. Per your email request dated August 29th, and your proposal shared at the city council meeting, could the RDC committee meet with all council members 1 hour before your September 17th meeting? And then you said, Gary, I think that would be a great idea. Actually, we could use a little more than an hour. How about 5:30? People could come with ideas in mind. Now, this is a great idea. It is. To which I responded, let me find my response. Sorry, there's a lot of emails here.
Yeah, there were a lot to follow.
I'm good with it, but can we legally meet with both entities as a whole? I believe there are rules regarding this, which there are. There are open door laws, and while it's a great idea, you still have to plan them. The council cannot meet outside of regular chambers without legally letting the public know, as can we not. We cannot meet with the public if
Not all
there's no...
that, you gave it to me all.
It's my time.
Sorry, I apologize.
We cannot meet and talk to the public about projects that could potentially end up on our docket if there's more than 3 of us. As the council cannot meet with 4 people or more and talk about council business unless it's a public meeting, unless it's properly publicized, there's a docket for it, an agenda for it, and it's properly done. That's good, that's just good business. You don't want to have your council, you don't want to have your RDC meeting behind closed doors without letting people know that. This is not a big deal. This was about finding a way to do this, but doing it so that we don't violate Indiana's open door laws. Now, we continued through these emails, and again, I kept stressing that we need to not violate it, and you continued to ignore it. And you continued to say, basically, you're going to have this meeting, no matter what. And then it went from, this was a meeting, to, well, this is a citizen workshop. Well, you can't change the name when you started here. And you can't say, hey, citizens, or hey, council, you can come, but you have to take your council hat off. You know, once you become an RDC member, you're an RDC member. And if you say, I'm going to learn about things for an RDC, then you have to adhere to Indiana's open door laws, just as Gary does as a council member. And I'm just, because you're here, so it's not me pointing you out individually. I'm saying, you don't get to take your council hat off and go, I'm going to go to this meeting.
That's just like earlier, James statement. You don't have the liberty to put a title on someone. I just speak my voice as a concerned citizen last month, much like you just did a moment ago. Initially, I think when Bonnie, and again, Bonnie's my mother-in-law, everybody, okay? When she made that comment, that was genuinely her idea as a concerned citizen.
Okay.
So then when she brought it to the council, I recall, now, again, Mrs. Stanley, during our council meeting, brought it up, Bonnie, what do you know what you're talking about? So two people, I think it was Ms. Ferguson and myself, replied to her. No one else did. And again, that's her thing.
But I don't have anything to do with how the council responds.
My point is, when I show up here like right now, I'm here as just a citizen. That's it.
Right.
I-
But when we're putting meetings together,
Again,
and they want council, or they want RDC to meet, yeah.
Initially, it was said, if the council showed up as citizens, much like the mayor's here, he's the citizen. He's a citizen, you should give him that latitude. And I'm just here as a citizen as well. If we would all, 7 of the councilmen were here, which here I am by myself, if they were all here, they would be here as citizens, supporting you guys.
There are laws that apply to that, though.
But we're not.
And that's what I was saying. In meeting at 5:30 with an hour before,
See, those
in
are
an
the issues we talked about, and that's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying, being here at an RDC meeting as a council person, that's not the case. I'm here as a citizen.
Okay, but that's different than what we were trying to
No,
plan.
That's where my point
But
was.
that's different than what we were trying to plan, Gary, is what I'm saying. And I appreciate,
That's
and
RDC planning.
that's fine. And I will commend you because we don't always agree, but you show up to every meeting for almost everything. And I appreciate that. And I wish more elected officials would.
Well, you should hold your
But-
council person.
But that's not for me to decide here. But when you tell me that I threatened you, there was no threatening here, there was no threat in here, there was no aggression in here.
Read your last email.
Okay, I'll be happy to.
So do we, Mr. Rund, do you need to
No, I
clarify?
mean, this is, we're gonna do this every month, it seems like. This is what we want to do.
Clarify as an attorney, as our attorney, you know,
Mrs. Lamping, if I may, he clarified it, and then I said, okay, I didn't say okay, I just said, let's just meet as citizens. I never asked for a closed meeting. I always ask for just an open meeting that we all come together and just talk.
But when there's more,
And
if there's
again,
3 or more of us, we can't just go, hey, we're meeting as citizens, but come talk to us about the RDC.
But
No
no,
longer a meeting.
we're going to give.
Robert, can you get to the podium so we can hear you?
The authority to tell.
If you are a commissioner, or if you were a council, if we were talking about the council, which we're not now, you are a public official.
yes,
If you ask people to come, and you're a public official, and 2 others show up that happen to be on the same governmental entity, you have a meeting. No matter what you call it, you can call it anything you want to. You will get slammed by the Public Access Counselor, and if somebody sues, they'll get attorney's fees.
so the mayor and Gary and I
The
said
mayor is
outside was.
The mayor is not a council member. He is the executive. He is not the legislative body. Common Council is a legislative body.
Okay.
It's Common
Okay.
Council. You guys are the legislative body for the RDC.
So again, and I'm just trying to clarify. James and I and Gary sitting outside on the steps tonight talking about the city was wrong?
No, because you only have two from the RDC.
Okay, and I would have only had 2 or 3 from the RDC.
Three makes it a meeting.
And if there would have been 3, I would have asked one of them, and that's where I'm talking about the aggression. You never...
There was no aggression.
Well, okay.
It's called emails, it's discussion, and what you
Yeah.
kept doing was ignoring us and saying, you're going to have this meeting.
No.
No matter what it was, you're not going to paint me as being
I'm not
aggressive,
trying to
and you're not
paint
going to say I threatened you.
Well,
If there was a threat there, don't say it seemed like a threat. Read a threat.
I took it as a threat,
Well-
just as you're saying you take it that I was not listening, but I did.
At every turn, you said you're having a meeting. You just kept changing the thing. We need to have this meeting, but we need to have it where we get it properly documented, properly posted. This meeting would have been perfect right now because
And
guess what? The
planned.
cameras are on. And if we could have gotten as many councils here, I was hoping, I thought, some of them said they were going to be here so that we could actually have a discussion.
You turned around and asked them to come.
What's that?
You turned around and asked them.
I did.
And you were telling me I couldn't.
To this meeting, not to come here at 5:30 where there's no cameras, it's not posted, and we're discussing city
Oh, so it's
business.
5:30, no camera. See, okay.
It's no city, you have to have a proper meeting. And if we want to have a meeting with, like I said several times in the emails, where we do it, but we make sure before we do it, either checking with Craig, who's had to do these a million times. I mean, every time when I was a union rep and we had to meet with a Democrat and meet with a Republican to go over the contract, we couldn't meet with more than like one because you wouldn't have a quorum. These are things that we have to do. That's why I kept bringing it up, and it kept falling on deaf ears. And the problem is, we need to do this the right way. And as I said in my last email that apparently is threatening, we've already lost 2 people this year over disputes over legalities and disputes over where we're operating in a gray area. And we're not doing that anymore. And there's no reason to do that, and there was no reason to force a meeting when it didn't have to be forced. When we could set up a meeting where we could make sure any council member and any RDC member that wanted to attend could attend, we could have it properly posted, so any citizen that wanted to attend could attend, so that we made sure Tim was there, so even in the event that someone couldn't attend, the cameras could be on and they could hear what we were discussing. We could even, the nice thing about the Facebook Live is, I could sit here and look at it while the entire time we're talking, and if someone put a question on there, we could discuss it. And that's routinely what happens with the Facebook Live. But none of that was ever afforded because it was, we're having a meeting today. And if you don't want to, I guess that means you don't, and one of them said, well, if you just really don't want to have the meeting, then you don't have to come. And it's like, I never said that. I said, I even offered solutions. I said, can we do a Republican and a Democrat from the council, plus a mayor's appointee and a council appointee? They can talk and then come back to us, and then we can start working on these if we wanted to meet early. I even offered, can we just do this at 7 p.m. tonight, where it's an official meeting, it's already been posted. I made lots of offers, and at the end of the day, you kept saying, I'm just having a meeting.
Well, okay, let me respond again to you. All of that, I understand where you're coming from, but you apparently did not understand where I was coming from. You had told me I couldn't have that meeting, or we couldn't have that meeting. So I said, well, I just want to talk to people then. And I did ask for the council chambers, but there's a caucus room, I understand, where you talk to people. That, if we can't have the meeting, then I want to come in and talk to people. I want to invite them to come talk to me. I thought that was a permissible thing to do, I guess, because I see Mr. Hall do it for the council. And then, I don't have the emails in front of me, but the thing was that your words came across to me. Now, wherever you were coming from, fine, but they came across to me that you're saying, you're just being a patsy for Mr. Hall, and I'm going to bring these emails. Those weren't his words, because I don't have them from me, but that's the way it came across to me. You're being a patsy for Gary Hall,
I never said Patsy.
I said that you didn't. But, and then you said, I'm going to print out these emails and I'm going to bring them to everyone. To me, that's a threat. I mean, why couldn't you
Well,
just said, sweet?
I'm glad I did, because you've just told people that I threatened you and I got aggressive. I never threatened you. I said I'm bringing the emails so
Okay.
that nothing can be misconstrued, which I'm glad I did, because you just told everybody I got aggressive with you and threatened you.
If
That's
you
totally
follow the
inappropriate. There was
emails-
never a threat.
Okay,
ever.
thank you.
Everyone's a
I'm glad
friend.
you didn't. I took it that you were threatening me. That, you know,
What specifically did I say that was a threat to you?
that I'm printing these out and I'm bringing them before the board.
You're threatened by printing emails.
No,
I'm asking, I mean,
It's the position you put them in. You're like, I'm done with you, you can't have this meeting, and also, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I had asked Mrs. Lamping to let me in the building to use the caucus room.
Mr. Runn had already responded to that. There was no need to further the discussion. He had made it clear.
Okay.
And I would suggest
He
that
made it clear.
maybe we, as a group,
Yeah.
invite somebody from the public access counselor
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
to sort of give a mini seminar on what you can do and what you can't do and what the consequences are.
I think that would be wonderful. I have 2 more meetings. If you don't want to address it, fine. So, but I just would like, because of the very first email you ever sent me, which was on another matter, and again, like we did here tonight, I asked a specific question of another member, and you jump in and answer it, and you said, let's quit playing we gotcha. And I'm like, where'd that come from?
well, go look at your emails. You're setting up, you're looking to just fight.
No,
Those
it
are the
wasn't.
tones of your emails.
I'm looking
So,
for
listen,
information.
At the end of the day, Gary, if you want to have this meeting, we need to have this meeting. And now I'm talking to you as a counselor, if that's okay.
No, I don't want to talk about it, thanks.
I responded in my email.
You guys really need to fix this, this is bad.
I responded in my email, and I believe everyone got the email, that I have a critically ill family member, and I was also in Mooresville. It's my it's my travel day as an obligation to my job. So the meeting time would not happen for me either way, and I couldn't, and I'm getting a text right now. So, anyway, I made my position clear in my situation, so. and Mr. Runn.
It came across to me that you guys had told me we can't do that, which would have been nice when you sent me out to find out if we could do it last week. Oh, go talk to the council people, see if we can do it. It would have been nice if you would have told me then, there's no sense talking to them, we can't do it.
We can do it, you just have to do it appropriately, and that was stressed multiple times in the email conversation.
It was,
We
but
can
then-
do it. We can get, Kara has already said she's interested. I know Bobby has to work tonight. I talked to Kevin. Kevin said he would do a meeting whenever we could. I talked to Buddy. They all said they would be happy to meet.
But
But we have
Nathan,
to do it properly, and there's no reason
be
we
charges.
can't do it where we don't publicize it,
We'll have
and
to
we
have-
don't allow the public to know, hey, the council and the RDC are meeting, they're meeting at this time, and it's public.
And then when you guys pointed that out to me-
Individual members cannot decide that they're going to have a
There you go.
meeting.
okay, when you guys pointed that out to me, then I said, I want to have a meeting. I want to have it, not the RDC, not the council. I want to have a meeting, and I asked for the room to be open so I could talk to people, and I was told, not opening it till 7. To me, you're telling me I can't talk to people?
You could have you could have.
You're saying that now, but you actually told me by not opening the availability of that room that I couldn't. So I said, and it was posted on our town, Beech Grove community, and after you told me it has to be posted, which I didn't understand why it has to be posted, because I want to talk to people, I called Jim, and Jim says, I don't see anything here that has to be posted. Went through it with him, and after that, I said, well, Mr. Rinks is telling me I have to post this, and he says, no, and I told him, I said, I'm just talking to people as my neighbor. I'm not trying to come up with any kind of a plan. I'm not trying to, go behind anyone's back. I want to know what some of my neighbors say. I want to know, as I was telling someone earlier, we have a 4-mile square city. I live over here. I don't know what's going on over here. I would like them to tell me what's happening in your area. And all through the whole situation, I kept saying, I don't want a meeting. I don't want a meeting. I want to sit down and talk to people.
But it's kind of like and I don't know if this is an accurate legal description, it's similar from where I go. It's like the fruit of the poisonous tree at that point. You've already said, I'm doing it, I would like to do this. And then you can hatchet it down all you want, but you've still said your goal is this, and now you've just said, well, it's not a meeting, it's a workshop. And the council can come, but they have to take their council hats off. That's all just too many gray areas, and by the way, illegal at that
Most
point,
likely.
because you've now set your council up.
No.
But if they go and they say, well, Bonnie said we can go as citizens, you can still get in trouble for that.
Okay,
And
Mr.
there was not,
Reeves.
it wasn't necessary.
I don't-
All we had to do was give it a little time, maybe say, okay, let's take a week to
Okay,
plan
I
a meeting
have a
properly.
couple more things. I have seasoned council member people that will not respond to me, even my own president here that will not respond to me. So everything I do is like I have to fight for it. I have to fight for it. And then I'm like, I don't know where to go, so I'll do this and see how it handles. I backed off every time. I mean, you sent it to me 3 or 4 times. Council says this. Elizabeth comes back and says, slap your hands, which she didn't use those words. We're not going to have any meeting. I wanted to talk. And again, I mean, I'm stressing this because I said it. I want to talk to people.
Well, let me
I
clarify.
didn't understand why I got so out of hand, because every time you sent it to me, I came back and said, okay, if we can't have RDC and council, let's have the RDC and the council can be citizens. That was my thinking. Anywhere, seasoned council people that were getting these could have stepped in and said, no, we can't do that. But no one took the initiative, as our previous week or 2 weeks, when you jumped in and said to me, let's not play gotcha. If someone would have just said that was a projected amount, and again, Mr. Rudd said, no, we have that money in the bank, I wouldn't have asked any more questions. But every time I ask a question, it's like everyone's threatened, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Well, I don't have the authority, I don't have a key to the building, and I don't have the authority to open this chamber up early.
And I asked you to tell me how to do
I
it.
don't have that authority. I don't know how to do it. I don't have the authority to do that. I do not have the authority to open this building prior to our meeting. That's what I
But you wouldn't respond to me
That's
and
what I
just
know.
say that. But you
No.
could respond to me and
Because
say
Mr.
you
Rund-
wouldn't open it at
Mr. Rund-
7.
I did. Mr. Rund gave us the reason. He set the legal terms in play. We all understood it. I said a meeting back, of that, this is the way the meeting would happen. I'm the president of the RDC. I set the agenda. That's the way it was going to be, per the advice of our attorney, and I think the majority of the members agreed with that. So with that, if I
Okay,
could get a motion
you
to
had sent
adjourn
me
the
to do
meeting.
some other things, if
If I
you
could get a
remember.
motion to adjourn the meeting?
Madam President, as a point of personal privilege as a city attorney, can I speak briefly?
Yes.
I can't
Please.
hear you. Oh.
Please.
Can he take his mask off so we can hear?
Sure.
Thank you.
Craig Wiley, city attorney. I'd like to make a suggestion to the RDC. It's something we've done in the past, and there's some new members up here. After listening to some of the discussion, I think there's I say this politely, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of the role of the RDC. My suggestion is to have Mr. Rund come in and do a workshop. We'd have to post it because you'd be all together, but Bob did it a few years ago, and I think it was tremendously beneficial. You're going to have to spend some money to have them come in here and do it. But I think it really set the tone when Don was president.
Okay.
And we got a lot of good things done in that 3 years that Don was president. As Kathy knows, Kathy served. And, I mean, did you think the workshop was helpful? So my recommendation would be, or maybe you wait till the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year, and if you're reappointed, then you have
Real
it.
good.
But I think you benefit from it, just by listening to what I'm hearing tonight.
Well, I know we have budget coming up, and we're working through budget, so I would greatly appreciate if Mr. Runn would be in for a workshop. You've been through some trials in previous RDCs, we could certainly, I think that's,
And we might want to bring in another resource too, like from the Advanced Indiana municipalities or.
can you give me some, will you send me?
Yes.
Okay, and just share, those recommendations, you'll give in the group email, share them with all of us.
Or if you want us to reach out and see if they'd be willing to come.
That's fine, that's fine. But there will be charges, there'll be professional charges for this, yeah.
And you gave me 2 other things to look into last time.
Yes,
You asked me to find out if any other municipalities have
Yes.
used
Yes.
TIF monies for their sewage.
yes,
I contacted, her name just went on my head. The lady that's head of the lady that,
Rhonda?
Rhonda, thank you. Rhonda said that those TIF monies are set up differently in every municipality.
Okay.
So it's how we set up our TIF districts and how the monies can be used. And then she said, I will blank it out and ask people to
good,
respond to
good.
you. Again, no response at all. And it's been 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks,
no response from,
from anyone,
okay,
any of the
Okay.
people around Indiana,
Okay.
because we reached out more than just in
Okay.
Indianapolis area. And then you asked me to put together some kind of a welcome
yes.
booklet paper. I asked Kathy to work on it with me because she kind of knows the score, how it works.
yes,
And she actually put together a very nice one-sheet paper, which has been passed out, handed out to you, and you were going to look at it and see how to follow through with that.
well, this is certain, we could put this on our next agenda, we can give the members a chance to read this, we all have a copy?
Yes.
We can put it on our next agenda, have a chance to read it, look into it. I think it would be nice to settle down and relax a little bit and read it, and then I'll make sure that it gets on our agenda for review next meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So if I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting, at what time is it?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I can get a motion to adjourn?
A motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Oh, well, I apologize. Our next meeting, I always forget to do this. Our next meeting is in these chambers, Thursday, October the 15th, in these chambers at 1900 hours. Thanks for coming, everyone. And
We haven't voted yet.
Voted, okay, vote.
You said the
By saying
15th of
aye.
October?
Yes, 15th of October. Is that correct? Everybody, make sure I'm not looking at the wrong year.
I will be
10/15.
out of town for
Okay.
fall break on that.
Okay, that'll be good. So if I can get a motion, everyone signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks.